What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, I'm pretty gosh darned excited. Because the other day, I showed you this new card game, Disney Lorcana. Well, I told you it was coming, but I didn't actually tell you much about it at all, because we didn't know much about it. We'd not seen any cards, etc. That all changes today, ladies and gentlemen. We've got our first cards, our first look at the rules, although let's be clear, the rules here are what we can divine from the cards themselves. It's not going to be a how-to-play tutorial. I'm so sorry about that. But the second I can bring you a how-to-play tutorial, you know that I will. And we've got lots of information. And you can actually go and buy the first Lorcana cards over at the D23 Expo in Anaheim this weekend. They're out. It's happening. There is a set of 6 cards, which you can see on the screen here. We'll delve more into these in a moment. And then there is also a Mickey Mouse promo card that can be grabbed. And I believe there might be a pin coming in as well. So straight off the bat, just a little request from me. If anybody is at or knows someone at D23 this weekend who can act as a middleman for me buying these, hit me up on Twitter at @thewassy, would ya? I would be incredibly grateful. Because I want to get my hands on these, because these look awesome. Now, a couple things to note that we have found out. The first set is going to be called Disney Lorcana, the first chapter. Straight to the point. And it is going to be coming out in fall 2023. That is near the end of next year, as we expected. Generally speaking, things like this, October, November release is normally what we see, because they want to release it close enough to Christmas to get the hype, but far enough away from Christmas to give people time to actually buy it. So that all makes sense. Now, one awesome thing here is that the art is new, and the fact that the art is new is a very, 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 very big deal. Because this is Disney. Disney have 1 billion pictures of Mickey Mouse and Elsa running around that they could have used in this card game. They didn't need to do new artwork. So why did they do new artwork? Yeah, it's because they're taking the game really seriously. I mean, the artwork is phenomenal. I'm in love with the artwork. But do please bear in mind that the fact that they've got this new artwork is a really big deal. And this is what I was getting at in my previous video. It is proof that Disney are really going for this. It's not, hey, let's give it a go. It's, we are going to make a card game and it's going to be successful. They're not hedging their bets and saving a bit of money by reusing art assets. No, they are doing things properly from the beginning, and I am absolutely delighted about this. This makes me very, very happy indeed. You will notice that all the cards we've seen so far, these are Disney properties. So no Star Wars, no Marvel, no Pixar. Will we get them in the future? The answer is, I don't know. And there's 2 reasons, and speaking as a former business teacher here, there's basically 2 reasons I can think of why they might not do this. Number 1, they might not have the license. I know they own the properties, but there is a decent chance that they've granted a license to other companies to make card games based on those properties, so that would be a reason why they wouldn't do it. Number 2, they might just for marketing's sake want to keep it to Disney properties and really focus on that. But the thing to remember is, if this first set is just proper Disney and not the other companies they own like Star Wars, Marvel and Pixar, do bear in mind that doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. Disney does own these properties now, so there's every possibility that Star Wars could be introduced in year 3, even though it wasn't seen in years 1 or 2, as a random example based on absolutely nothing. Good? Cool. Also, do bear in mind there was an interview, there were some quotes taken from Polygon.com, and essentially they specifically called out the evolutions in the Pokemon TCG, which I'm assuming are from Evolving Skies, and basically said, look, we are looking at other kinds of chase cards. They talked about having these swatches, kind of like you'd have a colour swatch when you do in a room, but for different types of holo. So they are looking at different types of holos and things of that nature. So assume there are going to be some fancy chase cards, because they have as good as told us that there are going to be, though we don't know what they actually look like yet. So to have a bit of a look at the anatomy of a card, let's take a look at Robin Hood. because I've watched Robin Hood a lot with my kids lately, and it's awesome. Plus, I went to uni in Nottingham, so yes, I know Robin Hood isn't a Disney character per se. It's an old kind of British fairy tale myth, call it what you will, legend. However, Fox Robin Hood is very much Disney. So what we've got in the top left-hand corner, I'm assuming, is the cost. And then on the right-hand side there, I'm assuming we've got attack and defense. I.e., if your attack is higher than their defense, they will be knocked out. Although banished does seem to be the word they're using in this particular card game. Robin Hood Unrivaled Archer. My take on this, I believe what this is not important gameplay-wise, other than it's Robin Hood Unrivaled Archer, so they can have 20 different Robin Hood, and they've all got different subtitles, and you're going to be able to play 4 Robin Hood Unrivaled Archer, but you'll be able to play 4 of a different Robin Hood and 4 of a third Robin Hood. We don't know playsets of 4 cards in Lorcana, but they tend to be, that's the normal in most, there are exceptions of course, but the normal in most card games is a playset of 4, so that's what I'm assuming the subtitle is there for. We've also got Storyborn and Hero. Now, we can compare that to, for instance, Cruella de Vil, who is a Storyborn villain, or, for instance, Captain Hook, who is a Dreamborn villain. So basically, we seem to have Storyborn and Dreamborn, and we've got heroes and villains. Do you have to make a complete hero or villain deck? Quite possibly. Does one player have to be hero and one player have to be villain? Maybe. I don't know, but certainly the difference between Storyborn and Dreamborn seems to be important, and the difference between hero and villain seems to be important. You've also got a couple other keywords there on Captain Hook, like pirate and captain. Robin Hood doesn't have any of those. I don't know what this symbol is on the left-hand side here, except it seems to be related to colours. So, for instance, you will notice that the only 2 I'm going to show you that actually have the same symbol are Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor and Maleficent Monstrous Dragon, because they are both red cards. It seems like there are essentially 6 different colours that we're starting off with here, and the symbols really just relate to the colours. Could be wrong, but that seems to be my take on it. If that is what it is, can I just say a massive shout out to Disney for giving a symbol so colorblind people like myself are not relying on the colors. That makes me very happy indeed. Don't know that for a fact, but again, that seems like a pretty sensible prediction. Now, moving on through the card then, we've got these 2 signs on the right hand side. I'm going to say they're rarity. I don't know, but the promo card Mickey Mouse, we'll get to that in a minute, has 4. And most of them have 1, so I'm assuming it's a rarity thing. I could absolutely be wrong about this, I don't know. We've then got a couple of skills, and you'll notice in the bottom middle we've got D23 Expo first, and the reason is very simple. These 6 promo cards are actually coming as a set that you can buy at D23. These 6 promo cards are in the first set, the first chapter, and they're the same cards, but in the set, they have a different holo pattern, or I should say the promos have a different holo pattern. I'm not guaranteeing they're holo in the set. And these ones have the D23 Expo first stamp on the bottom. So, although these cards will be in the first set, the Fancy Expo ones are, you can see them differently. You can set them apart. So, they're thinking about collectors. And again, this is a very good sign. They should be thinking about collectors. The other card we've got here is Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor, who is actually from a 1938 cartoon, and yes, I've gone and checked it out. If you just go onto Disney Plus and search Brave Little Tailor, it's right there. It's a 9-minute cartoon from 1938. I'm going to be going and having a look at that as soon as I've finished this video. So that's basically what we've got on the cards. That's what you need to know. So let's take a quick look at the cards that have been revealed so far. So we've got Stitch Rockstar, 6 cost, 3 attack, 5 defense. Not actually guaranteeing these are correct, but I think they are. You've got Shift 4, which lets you pay 4 to play this on top of one of your Stitch characters. It's basically like evolving or upgrading a character that we've seen in many other card games. You've also got Adoring Fans. Whenever you play a character that costs 2 or less, you may exert it to draw a card. And we'll see in a second, I'm pretty sure exert is like tapping in Magic or suspending in Digimon, or call it what you will. But basically this is where you are suspending or tapping the character to use a skill. Nice and simple. Although it's not 100% clear whether you are tapping Stitch or the character you play. I think it is the character you play here. That's how I'm reading it, which I think means this is a really good skill. Stitch Rockstar seems really good. Could be wrong about that. And I should say, right, as we move on to Elsa here, do bear in mind, we know so little about this card game here that we can't really tell if cards are good or not. All I can do is try and compare them to things we've seen in other card games. So we've got Elsa, a free cost, 2 attack, 3 defense character. And what we've got here is freeze. And I'm assuming that symbol means you tap or exert Elsa to exert a chosen opposing character, i.e. you tap Elsa to tap one of their characters. Yeah, I mean, Elsa's quite a cheap, small character, it looks like. So being able to tap a small Elsa to tap one of your opponent's much bigger, scarier characters seems like a good thing. You'll also notice there is lovely flavour text on there that you can read at your own leisure. Cruella de Vil is a 2-cost, 1 attack, 3 defense character. You'll be sorry. Whenever this character is challenged and banished, you may return the chosen character to their player's hand. I'm assuming return chosen character means you can basically return any character, as in you choose a character. It doesn't say your opponent's, it doesn't say yours, it just says chosen character. So there might be a mechanic we're not seeing here, but I'm assuming it just means, or it might be that Cruella de Vil is in fact the chosen character who returns to your hand. Again, without having seen the rules and only seeing a few cards, it's hard to really get the cadence of how this game reads, if that makes sense. But still, we can see that challenged is basically when a fight happens, and banished is discarded or trashed, or how it goes to your discard pile, it leaves play. Again, we've seen a bunch of that in other card games. Maleficent here is the big old dragon, 9 cost, 7 attack, 5 defense. This is your big one. And we've got Dragonfire. When you play this character, you may banish chosen opposing character. Now, again, you're clearly not banishing Maleficent here. That would be weird. So when we go back to Cruella and it says you may return chosen character to their player's hand, and then you look at Maleficent, you may banish chosen opposing character. I think what that means is Maleficent, you can choose any of your opponent's characters to banish. It's an expensive card, but this one looks amazing. Whereas Cruella, if you're banished, you can return a chosen character of either players to that player's hand. I.e. you bring one of yours back to get a skill when you play it, or you get one of your opponent's characters off of the board. Putting those two cards together, that's what I'm assuming it means. But again, we need to see rules and more cards before we can know for sure. Robin Hood, you got 6 cost, 4 attack, 4 defense. Feed the Poor. When you play this character, if an opponent has more cards in their hand than you, draw a card. Love that. Card draw is always good in every card game. Well, almost always anyway. And Good Shot. During your turn, this character has Evasive. Evasive is a keyword skill we're going to see again in a minute. Evasive characters can only be challenged by evasive characters. So if you give yourself Evasive this turn, it means you can go after your opponent's evasive characters. But it's only during your turn, so when it goes back to your opponent's turn, you no longer have Evasive, so anybody can come after you. But clearly, if you're against a deck of a bunch of evasive characters, you're going to need an option for going after them. This is that option. Captain Hood has 1 cost, 1 attack, 2 defense, and it's got Challenger +2. When challenging, you get +2 attack, which incidentally, Captain Hook, challenging, bringing out the sword, bumping up the attack. I kind of like this. This makes sense to me. This seems in fitting with the character. And what we've got for Captain Hood is, I mean, you know, if we look at this, it seems like you can challenge your opponent's characters. If Captain Hook is the one doing the challenging, you go up to 3 attack rather than 1, which is nice. And then we finish off with Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor. And again, like I told you earlier, this is not in the 6-card set. This is a separate promo card that can be found at D23. And it's an 8 cost, 5 attack, 5 defense with Evasive. So basically it's expensive, but, you know, stats-wise, this is not a million miles away from Maleficent. Same defense, slightly lower attack. But you've also got Evasive, which seems pretty gosh darned good to me. I like this. This seems like a cool card. You can kind of see where the cards are coming from. You can see the uses for them, But as I've said, all I can do here is look at the skills and, try and compare these cards a little bit to each other and try and think about other card games. We don't have a lot of information, but you know how I roll by now, ladies and gentlemen. When we see more cards, I'm going to show them to you. When we know what the rules are, I'm going to have a learn to play video. And whenever we have any more news, I will bring it to you. As it stands at the moment, I am all in on Lorcana. It looks amazing, and as long as you guys join in and watch these videos, I'm going to keep covering it. I know the game's not out till next fall. I get that. I'm sorry. But frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I am very, very excited about this game. It looks awesome. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Get us! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at theis. That's where we talk about a bunch of card games, like Lorcana. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. But by far, the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.